Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie, and in today's video I want to talk to you all about some exciting things for the channel. Now if you've clicked this thinking it's an Eve Echoes video, please do stick around. A lot of this is of course Eve Echoes related, it is the game I play most, and some of it should be relevant to you. Now the 4 topics that I want to cover in today's video, and I will put timestamps in the description down below as well, are the direction of the channel. If you've seen recently, I put out a post on the community tab on YouTube asking about should I split the channel into 2, and if so, how should I do that, that kind of thing there. I'm going to be talking about the Combo Omega giveaways that I do each week in Eve Echoes as well. 3 Combo Omegas every week I give away, and we're going to be talking about that in a bit. We're going to talk about Patreon and some of the challenges I'm having with that, and a little bit of reorganization going on there. And finally, I'm going to talk about a thing called Project M5, and that's one that I think a lot of you will be very much interested in, so do stick around for that one. Now, I'm not going to do my usual like and subscribe spiel on this one, we're just going to jump straight in. I was going to film this up at sooner at the moment, so I was going to walk up to the point and film all of this on camera with the Zambezi River behind me, bright sunshine and all of that. Unfortunately, any of you who follow me on Twitter probably know I've been very ill for the past week. I've been really struggling with a bad chest, headaches, vision problems, so taking a long walk out there just didn't work out in the end, so I've just holed up in the room here, and I'm just going to talk to the microphone instead. So anyway, let's jump right in. Point number 1. The direction of the channel, and do forgive me if I'm a bit out of breath as well at the moment. So first of all, the direction of the channel. Now, I put out onto the community tab of my YouTube page a couple of days back the question of should I split the channel, because obviously I know a lot of folks here only play Eve Echoes. Some of you play Eve Online, and there is a certain relevancy and crossover between those two, but then I also want to be covering things occasionally like Stellaris, or different mobile games like Diablo Immortal, Crying Suns. There's the recent Iron Marines game that's just been announced, and that's coming as well. I covered the original Iron Marines briefly in the past, I'd like to cover the new one in the future when it launches. And kind of getting a feel for what people on this channel are looking for. And some people were like, no, I think it works best if you keep it on mobile on one channel and PC games on the other, because, you know, there's a lot of crossover there, and that mobile gamers will play mobile games, PC gamers play PC games. Some other folks were like, oh no, have one that's just Eve-related content, Eve Online and Eve Echoes, because those cross over, and then you can have all of the other games you play on the other channel. Then other people still were very much of the opinion that no, perhaps it should just be like all the space games on one. You know, there's a lot of talk, and one of the things I really want to say is, first of all, thank you to everyone who took the time and energy to respond to that. I'm some random dude living in the arse end of nowhere out in the middle of Africa, and yet I have an awesome community of people around me who seem to really care, and that means an awful lot to me. If you've watched my video on like handling autism and depression, you'll know I don't take compliments well, so when people were messaging saying like, look dude, this is your channel, you take it in the direction you want, we will follow. You are the product here, not the games in particular. I'm like, you know, that's really sweet, and it does mean a lot to me. This means the overwhelming theme of it all was that people enjoy one particular aspect of my content. Like, there are some people who are just here for Eve Echoes and don't even care for Eve Online. There are some people who are here for all things Eve but don't care for games like Diablo Immortal. There are some that care for Eve Echoes and Diablo Immortal and the other mobile games but don't give a damn about what I do on PC, and games like Stellaris and stuff like that are just beyond their purview because they don't own a computer. But the overwhelming thought was that actually you guys are here for me, and that's really heartwarming, so thank you so much for that support. But yeah, the ultimate decision I've decided to take here is that for now at least, yes, I'm going to keep to one channel, because I think splitting my focus could cause problems. And how many times have people had to message me and say, hey Benzie, you know, you said you were going to put that graph into the, you know, a link to that graph in the comment section, or you're going to link that video or things like that. Yeah, you forgot to do it. I can barely even remember to get my own videos right, so the chances of me actually getting all of the mobile gaming videos onto a mobile gaming channel and not accidentally uploading one to the PC channel and vice versa, you know how it's going to happen. So the focus will continue the way it's always been, that I'm here to share my love for EVE Echoes, for EVE Online, and any other space game I can get my hands on, and occasionally non-space games too. My primary focus has always been mobile gaming, but it's nice to talk about some of the PC games I play too, and I'm really thankful for the support that you folks have given me in trying those things out as well. What it does suggest to me, though, is that I need to make my thumbnails clearer. There's a lot of you who have mentioned that you often click onto a thumbnail thinking it's an EVE Echoes video, and it turns out to be something that's not. So I am working on differentiating my thumbnails. I'll put some issues on screen now if I remember to do it, where you can see, for example, the EVE Online thumbnail I've settled on has these orangey red triangles and that on the sides that make it stand out as EVE Online. So if you see that, you can recognize that that is EVE Online content. EVE Echoes, I'm looking at doing something similar with a light green coloration reminiscent of the green that's used in the menus of EVE Echoes. When I do Stellaris videos, those will have their own unique identifier thumbnails. I did the same for Infinite Lagrange and things, so you could clearly see which game was being covered. So that is something I will endeavor to do better going forward. Make the thumbnails more obvious so that when you get an alert that a new video has come, you don't click in and then wait 30 seconds watching the video only to realize this one isn't for you. I do, really appreciate the support of those of you who go, well, this game really isn't for me, but hey, I'm going to watch it and enjoy it anyway. That's always awesome, but I don't expect that of people, and I don't want to be misleading people. I don't want people to click on an EVE Online video thinking it's EVE Echoes and vice versa. I do also need to work a bit harder on making sure that everything is listed into its own playlists. I do have playlists on the main page of my channel. If you click on my face and jump through to youtube.com/Captain Benzie, everything is subdivided into different playlists there, which will help you find content if you're looking back on it. And I try to do this at the end of the video as well. As an example, recently, when I was doing, sorry, I had a breath. When I was doing the videos on like the Hurricane, the Harbinger, and the various different battle cruisers, I did group those up into a battle cruiser playlist, which at the end of the videos, if you went to the end screen at the end, it would suggest that playlist. You could go through and find more, and hopefully YouTube was actually recommending that as a playlist beneath it as well. But hey, I will continue to work on that kind of stuff going forward. Now that brings me to the second point that I want to discuss here, and that is Combo Omega giveaways. This is something I've mentioned before. I tend to shout it out in every one of my dev Q&A videos, but equally I can't shout it out in every video because people complain that my intros get too long. In short, every week Netties give me 3 Combo Omegas that I can give away to my community, and historically I've decided that I'm going to give one of those to a random YouTube commenter. So if you comment on my videos, on any of my EVE Echoes videos, at the end of the week, I will go back over my comments on the EVE Echoes videos and randomly pick one person to win a month of Combo Omega. On the other hand, then 2 people in my EVE Echoes public channels on Discord will also receive a month of Combo Omega each. So I do recommend that, you're chatting in Discord, talking a storm up with people, and being with the chance of winning Combo Omega. Now, historically as well, I've also maintained the right to hold on to at least one of those. I try to keep it to just one, because occasionally I get messaged by someone who's, clearly very new to the game, they're struggling in EVE Echoes, and I often award the second Discord one. I will often just give to someone who I can see is struggling in the game and wants to get into it a bit more, and I'll give a Combo Omega month there just to help someone out. I know that there are people who have said that that's unfair that I advertise 2 a week on Discord, but I do reserve the right to do that. And yeah, I get there are probably some people out there who have just tried to, be like, oh, I'm struggling in order to get a free month of Combo Omega. There's a line my granddad once told me. I was walking through a town just up the coast from where we lived, and there was a homeless man begging on the street, and I remember granddad stopping, opening his wallet and giving him 10 quid. And I said to Grandad, hang on a second, but how do you know he's not going to use that for something other than food or transport or whatever? And he said, well, in fairness, if he does, if he's lied to me to get money, that says something about his character. If I chose not to help someone because I'm worried they might be trying to trick me, that says something about my character, and that's something I've always held on to. So if you're fooling me to get a month of Combo Omega, I hope you feel good about yourself. But otherwise, I'm just trying to help the community and get as many people as possible in on this. So please do remember, get into Discord, start chatting up a storm there. Same on the comment section of the videos. Reply to other people's comments, because that counts too. I sometimes go into the replies where someone has, commented and other people are commenting back. I love to see a conversation going, so keep that up and you're in with a chance of winning a month of Combo Omega every single week. Now, moving on then to another area of support, Patreon. Patreon has been an absolute thorn in my side recently. I set it up because it's a very necessary thing for me to keep doing YouTube as my primary source of income. Like, Patreon really helps me. YouTube fluctuates quite a bit in the ad revenue depending on what ads you guys are seeing. People ask me the question all the time, how does this actually work on YouTube? And eventually I will do an actual sort of mini playlist of helping other content creators get started. But the sort of too long didn't listen of this is that every time someone watches an advert on YouTube, that's on my videos at least, I get paid. And I get paid a larger amount if they watch a longer duration of that advert. The most you can get paid for an advert is if someone does actually click on that advert and it takes them through to the download link or whatever. How much I get paid very much depends on who's watching, what advert is shown. So the example that I remember Xcoundrel giving to me back in the day when he first explained this to me before I did my own research into it, was that if he was doing a video on something like League of Legends Wild Rift and it's being watched by teenagers in somewhere like the Philippines, then naturally adverts that target teenagers in the Philippines aren't worth as much as, say, an Eve Echoes advert that might be targeting a middle-aged homeowner in the USA. Those adverts are going to be much, more valuable, and you're going to earn more from it. Patreon helps me cover those gaps, and it really helps keep me doing what I'm doing. And ultimately, if everyone donates $1, that would make me super rich. I know not everyone can donate $1, so I don't ask for like $5, $10, $25. Don't even ask for $1. If you can support, it's awesome. If you can't, then the thought counts. It genuinely counts to me. The fact I get messages from people saying, "Oh, I'd love to donate on Patreon, but I just don't have the money." I get apologies from people saying, "I've been supporting you for months. Unfortunately, this month I can't afford it." That's fine. Look, it's a pledge. It's a donation. It means the world to me when you can. But what means the most to me is the fact that you want to. That's huge to me. It's really hard to explain. That's why I tried to set up this Patreon merchandise issue, where you pledge for certain months of support and then you'd eventually earn stickers or t-shirts and hoodies. And I maintain the quality of that merch is pretty good. The first time they sent me a hoodie, the design was noticeably squonk on it, and they had to send out a second one, which wasn't overly, reassuring, but everything else they've sent out to me so far has been good, and the folks who have received their stuff have said it's good quality stickers and that as well. The trouble is, it's been an absolute ball ache to try and get that stuff out to people. Like, Patreon have really dropped the ball on this, and from what I can gather, it genuinely seems to just be me. I've spoken to other content creators who've done this on Patreon and they've had great successes with it. I don't know what has gone on there, but just a lot of people who should have received gear, who should have received merchandise, just did not receive it and still haven't received it months later. And I've got entire chains of emails to Patreon support to try and figure this out, and why aren't people getting it? I can clearly see people have got correct addresses. It's not that I'm withdrawing the Patreon funds too early, because I'm waiting until they automatically allocate. I'm putting myself out to try and make sure this merchandise gets through to people. So as of this month, I am pulling the plug on that because it's just not been worth it. It's not been worth it. But what I'm going to do instead is on Redbubble, I'm going to reduce the costs even further there. I make maybe $1.50 on a t-shirt via Redbubble. But what I'm going to do is actually take that down to literally be the cents, the minimal amount of profit I can, because the aim there isn't to get you guys spending money to support me. It's to give you guys something fun that you can wear and enjoy, and it's always been something that I'm really impressed with when someone sends me a message like, hey, I got my Cat Skull Academy mug, or my stickers arrived on my notebook or whatever. It's just a really cool thing in my head that there's folks in California or Wisconsin or Michigan, or heck, outside of the US. I've had people in Germany. I've had one guy in freaking Thailand, of all places, send photos of them wearing my merch, and that's just incredible. The fact that like the Captain Benzie brand, in inverted commas, means so much to you is really, really cool. Which then brings me to my final point here, which is that Project M5. If you haven't heard of Project M5, this is the big one. CCP, during their EVE Online FanFest, announced 2 new games. First of all, they are working on a tactical shooter set within the EVE universe, kind of like Dust 514. Don't know exactly how that's going to work. They haven't even given us a name for it yet, but that's pretty exciting. The second one they mentioned during that keynote was Project M5, a mobile strategy game set in the EVE Online universe, that they are currently developing. That's being developed by CCP Shanghai, which are the same people who made Dust 514 when that first came out, so they're people who clearly understand the EVE branding and how to make that work. The way it's described appears to be sort of a mobile 4X experience, so similar vein to Infinite Lagrange, I imagine, and a lot of you folks did enjoy my Infinite Lagrange content, so I would love to be looking forward to covering this. Now, after FanFest, I reached out to some of the developers of EVE Online via Twitter and kind of said, look, I'd be really, really interested in this. I got an email through, I filled in my details, and on Tuesday of this week, I got an email back through asking if I would be willing to sign the non-disclosure agreement, as I will be in on the beta or alpha or whatever they call it, the closed test for Project M5. Now, I have now signed that NDA, and don't worry, obviously the email came before the NDA. Because it came before the NDA, I am within my legal right to talk about it, because you cannot retroactively apply a non-disclosure agreement. Good fun tip there for you. So ultimately, yes, I've received an email, I've received a NDA, which I've now signed for Project M5, and I'm looking forward to jumping into that, giving it a go, and I will of course keep you guys as informed as I can on how that goes, because I think an EVE Online based sort of 4X experience, think Stellaris or Infinite Lagrange and stuff like that, could be really, really good. I know those games aren't necessarily for everyone. I will continue to support EVE Echoes, of course, just as I want to keep continuing support for EVE Online, and I really need to get some more content out about that. But that was a pretty big announcement for me, that I've been given exclusive access into this brand new game that CCP Games themselves are working on, to get sort of a first look and hopefully be able to share with you folks what this game looks like. And I know some folks were a little bit there about Infinite Lagrange. I really enjoyed it. It was one of the least pay-to-win 4X experiences I've ever had. I do still play it. I do still enjoy it. I'd love to do some more content on it at some point. But I enjoy this kind of game. I think it's, you know, like you've seen me play Stellaris, you can have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff. We know very little about it other than 4X mobile game made by CCP Shanghai, and it's set in the EVE universe. That's literally all we know, and it'll involve, they did say as well, sorry, that it would involve sort of the EVE Online blueprint of working with friends to achieve great goals, which is something I've always loved about the EVE universe in general. I've said it before in other videos. To me, EVE is about working together to achieve things greater than the sum of their parts, things that no solo player could ever do. If you took 100 solo players, they could not achieve what a corporation of 100 players can do. And that's what EVE's about to me, and I'm super excited to get my hands on this and then showcase it to you guys, so please do stay tuned for all of that. Again, finally, please give me feedback on thumbnails and things like that. Let me know if you think that the new designs are too much, or if they're not enough, or if you've got some cool ideas for stuff you would like to see me do. I get DMs all the time, and people apologize for bothering me, or I get pings, and people are like, sorry for the ping. I've always said a DM or a ping, if you're asking a question or giving me feedback, is always welcome. I do get literally hundreds of these a day, so I do sometimes miss some. If you think I've missed yours, ping again. I will tell you. I will flat out tell you if you're annoying me, so don't stress. Most of the time you're not. You're just letting me know that you're talking to me and asking me questions, giving feedback and stuff like that, and that's really important to me. Being involved with my community is a big thing to me, you know, hashtag big thing. Anyway, folks, that's about all for today's update. I've rambled on entirely too long about this. My head is about to implode, so I'm going to go hit the pillow and get some much-needed rest and see if that perks me up a little bit. I just feel every bone in my body feels like it's made of aged wood at the moment. My skin feels like creaky, untreated leather. My head feels like someone's been clubbing me with a club, I guess. I had a thing this morning where I lost partial vision. You know, like when you look at the sun or you catch a really bright light and you turn away, you've just got that blind spot star in your vision or whatever. I had that for about 2 hours straight. So I'm going to go have a lie down. Anyway, once again, thank you all so much for your support. It really does mean the world to me. And I look forward to moving forward with you into a bright new content future. Anyway, folks, thank you for listening to me ramble on. Happy sailing and see you all next time.